Okay, if you clicked on this, you want to know what the biggest mistake you can possibly make in all of Diablo Immortal is, and I'm going to answer that question right now. Legendary gems, let's talk about them. So legendary gems in this game are one of two things. One of which, they're where the pay-to-win mechanic is going to come in with the Elder Crest. We've talked about this in a previous video. Elder Crest will drop these, as well as the higher star ones are rarer. And this is where you're going to basically well for Elder Crest to try to get these 5-star gems, and they are rarer drops, and the 5-star gems are factually better than the lower ones. So where is the number one biggest mistake that we're going to make? Okay, so in order to level up and rank these gems, you have to get something called gem powder, which is effectively taking other legendary gems. And if you don't know legendary gems, they're basically the majority of the in-game system. It's what we're going to be grinding. We're going to be leveling them up. There's stats locked behind them. There's like magic find bonus. There's all kinds of things you're going to want, okay? And you can just read it, for instance, here by going through and looking at all the different ones. There's some crazy bonuses. Just like, for instance, the very best one here increases all damage you deal by up to 10% and movement speed by 10% with less damage bonus to lower your life to a minimum of 5%. This is a level 1 without being leveled at all. So this is going to go even higher, and we all know movement speed plus damage are basically the two stats you want when it comes to clearing through rifts very quickly, so we know the Blood-Soaked Jade is going to be insane. Now, the biggest mistake you can possibly make is going through these gems and either crunching the wrong ones, because keep in mind, we're going to have to crunch gems to turn them into experience to level other gems. So you might go through and you might think, okay, well, I don't want the Cell Edge Weakening is a beer tier gem according to this one. And what it does is increase damage for 60 seconds after killing elite, increases all damage you deal with elite monsters by 1%. You actually don't want to crunch one of every, you want to have one of every one of these gems when you get them, because you never know. One, they could modify these gems. So these on launch could be literally different. They could buff some, they could try to balance them out. Two, certain gems can be used in certain builds. So maybe what you're doing in your Rift is you have one build that all you do is kill everything you see. Like the Blood-Soaked J type of build is just your Whirlwind Barb, you go through, you kill every mob you see, one-shotting them all, and that's how you farm. However, some of these people might not have that. You might have a different build where what you're doing is, for instance, like with this one, again, using this one as an example to keep it relevant, this one's all about hunting down elite mobs and then bonus damage. So maybe you have a build where what you're doing is teleporting around, killing the elite mobs, grabbing the progression little orbs that come out when you kill an elite mob, then warping to the next elite mob and killing it. They're different types of builds entirely and will require different types of gems. So the biggest mistake that you can make, as far as I'm aware from looking at this, I've been studying both the pay to win, the monetization, I've been studying the free to play side of it, and from what I can tell, it all comes down to the legendary gems, which number one means your worst possible mistake is one, crunching any of these. Like you need one of all of them. I would save one of all of them, okay? And then the second biggest mistake you can make is leveling up the wrong gem, like focusing on something just because you like, let's go down, let's look like the Nightmare Reef. You have a 10% chance when you kill an enemy to cause other nearby enemies to flee in fear for 1 second. Cannot occur more than once every 20 seconds, and it cannot occur more often than once every 20 seconds. It says that twice for some reason. Increases all damage you deal to targets inflicted with fear by 1%, and then of course increases your magic find, which we'll talk about in just a moment. So this gem is not very good. Reason being, it's all about clearing through rifts quickly, and you're not really trying to tank the higher ones by making them fear, so you're not receiving damage. Like, this just doesn't really make sense in terms of Diablo. This is like kind of a CC tanky build, which maybe in PvP, maybe, but you can see where I'm saying not such a great build. So what you could end up doing is you could get this gem first, think, this one's cool, I like this one, crunch all your stuff into this one, and then what you did was waste all these other gems, as well as put a whole bunch of experience into something that's not good. So, when the game launches, be very careful with your legendary gems. Make sure you have one of each copy, because they could be changed, altered. Pray I don't alter the deal. You could alter it further. You never know what Blizzard's going to do. And then make sure that the gems you pick are corresponding to the build in particular that you're focusing on. If you're killing things like the elite pack mobs, you're going to want gems that are going to coincide with that. If you're trying to go as quickly as you possibly can and just whirlwind your way through it, you want gems that coincide with that. So the best thing you can do, go through this legendary gem tier list. I'll have it in the link down below. Figure out which gems ahead of time you're going to want to use for your hero, and then make sure that you don't accidentally mess them up, delete them, or level up the other gems, because once again, the legendary gems are going to be the biggest part of the game. On top of it, when you rank these up, for instance, rank 5, The higher star gems have more magic find, and the lower star, like the 1-star ones, have 5%. The 2-star ones have 10%. With, from what I understand, the 2-star is going to be the majority of what the free-to-play can get up to. And then the 5-star is going to have 15%, so you're going to have more magic find. Why is magic find important? Because it improves the quality of your drops. Okay, not necessarily how many of them you get, but improves the quality of them. So the odds of getting higher stat rows will be better with more magic find, which is another reason you want to be careful about the gems you crunch. That's all. It's pretty much that simple. Legendary gems are the biggest mistake and the biggest advantage you can have in this game. Hopefully it helped. Consider liking or subscribing to this video, and I'll see you June 2nd for the launch. Obviously, I'll be playing Necromancer. I look just like the guy in the game.